Shalom, shalom, family. It's the Hebrew Life again. I'm Base Jerusalem, Ishaq, and I'm back again with another lesson. Man, we're going to call this one Life After Death. What happens? Yeah, that big question everybody in life wants to know. What happens after the body dies and the soul goes elsewhere? What happens after the first death? That's what everybody wants to know. You got plenty of assumptions out there on what goes on after you pass. But truly, nobody has the true scriptural answer to that question. Set this up, family. Set this up. Okay. Mostly everybody think that when you pass, that you go straight to heaven. And that's semi-true. It's true, but it's not the full truth. The full truth is everybody goes into judgment. Everybody has to be judged before they go on to the kingdom. Now, depending on what you did while you was living, it's gonna be dependent on your waiting room before you make it to the kingdom. Some call it purgatory, but I call it the waiting room till you get to the true destiny of where you need to be at, and that's the kingdom of Jerusalem. I'm gonna read about that now. In order to know what goes on after death, we need to know how man became, how he even came on this earth, and how he became to be a living soul on this earth. There's nothing wrong with death. Actually, death is a good thing if you understand what it is. Most people, when people die, people cry, people lose their mind, people go every which way in this lifetime, and they don't understand that death is a good thing, that the person don't have to suffer anymore, that they don't have to go through this wicked world anymore, and deal with what we have to deal with while the wicked rule this earth. People try to find happiness in heaven on this earth while they live, and they don't understand they'll never fully succumb to true happiness until the Father takes them again, and their soul is able to be one with them, and not in this flesh, in this world, constantly being tested and constantly being persecuted. I was gonna go to Genesis, but I spoke earlier on how death is a good thing. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 7:1 to kick this off. Yeah, shalom, shalom, sister. Shalom, brother. Shalom, everybody. Shabbat shalom. I forgot to say, excuse me. I'm so excited. But it is the Shabbat, and we will be resting with the Most High. But I had to bring some comfort to the brothers and sisters out here today on this lesson. Let's go to Ecclesiastes to unlock some things about death so we can understand it. Before your game get some understanding. And what's more important than knowing what goes on in the afterlife? Everybody say they gods out here. Everybody in these different religions and things say they're gods. But I ask people, what happens after you go? What happens after you're a god on this earth? What happens when a god dies on this earth? What happens to if you're the kingdom? What happens if the kingdom dies on this earth? Where does it go? Is the kingdom dead then? If you God, if you're the kingdom, if it lies within you, or does it lie with the Father who created? Ecclesiastes 7, verse 1. Good is the name better than the precious ointment, in the day of death than the day of one's birth. It is better to go into the house of mourning than to go into the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. I'm going to read that again in case anybody missed it out there. It said, good is the name better than precious ointment, and the day of death than the day of one's birth. So there the scriptures telling you the day of one's death is better than the day of one's birth. Because once you die, you can rejoice. You're going into the kingdom. You get ready to go into the kingdom. If you know you've been following the scriptures and you know you've been following about a book, you know when the Most High open your name and of the life of the book of life, your name will match up with what he expected from us while we was living. Let's go to, now I said earlier, we got to know where man came from in order to know where man is going. In order to know where you're going, you got to know where you came from. That's the problem with a lot of people these days. They don't know who they are. So naturally, they think different. They think unnaturally. Naturally, they think unnaturally because what they think is life and what they think is living is not actually what's living. Everything is backwards. So in order to know where you're going, you got to know where you've been. That's probably why people like Kanye West out here are lost, because he don't understand the pain of what our ancestors went through. He tried to say slavery was a choice. Slavery was a punishment given by the Most High through Deuteronomy. So if he knew anything, he would have knew that. And the people and our brothers and sisters who had to suffer, they were just suffering the curses of our ancestors. They didn't have a choice. So just wanted to put that out there. Let's read. It says, I'm going to start at Genesis chapter, I want to start at chapter verse 3, but Genesis chapter 1, verse 3, I'm going to start at verse 2 though. And it says, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. Let me jump up. Let me jump up to Genesis. So it says, so there you see right there that the Spirit moved upon the face of the waters. This is how Yeshua was created. Let's see how man was created though. We got to see how man was created. Because man was created another different way. Yes, they call me Base Jerusalem. Yeah, that's my Hebrew name. Thanks for asking, sis. Let's see how man was made. And it says, and this is Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. And it says that the Elohim Yah formed man out the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So there you see right there that man became a living soul when the Most High breathed his breath, which is life, into the dirt, and basically to the dirt of the earth. Let's go to Genesis 3:19. Let's go to Genesis 3:19 to get the precepts of this. It says, in the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground, for out of it thou wast taken. For dust thou art, and dust shalt thou return. This is what the Most High told Adam, the first man. So we see now that man is made of dust, and he's made of the breath of the Most High. This what makes us a living soul. This what gives us our godly powers. That breath, that water. Everything. Everybody know life is water. Everybody know life is oxygen. You can't live without breathing. So you can't live in the kingdom of the Most High without his breath. Okay. We're going to go to Luke 16:19 because we got to unlock this death thing. This is called life after death. So we finna get into this. Now that we know that man come from dust and he shall return, that's talking about his physical body. We need to know what's going to happen to the spirit. We need to know what's going to happen to the spirit. Now that we know that the physical body is going right back into the dirt to replenish the earth and basically feed the earth all over again, it means nothing. Let's see what happens to the spirit, because this flesh don't seem to really mean anything. It goes right back to the dirt that the Most High took us from. So we got to find this out. I said Luke 6. Yes, Luke 16:19. Family. And I'm going to read the story about Lazarus. If people out there have never heard of the story of Lazarus, you finna find out because you get a glimpse on what goes on into the kingdom of heaven once a man or a woman pass in his lifetime. This question was asked by a friend of mine on what happens after the death. What happens to the soul? So this lesson was inspired by my friend, and it's a great subject. Let's read. And there was a certain man which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores, desiring to be fed with the crumbs of which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dog came and licked his sores. So let me start right there. There's a man named Lazarus who sits outside the gates of this rich man's estate, and he only wishes to have the crumbs that which fall off this rich man's table so he could eat. Let's see how this rich man treats this beggar, because we all know that there should be no poor man in Israel. We all know that we're supposed to give to the needy. We all know that the Most High takes this dearly to his heart. He doesn't play about hospitality. Abraham was had a lot of hospitality. If he never had it, then he would never ran into the angels on their way to Sodom and Gomorrah to do what they were sent to do. Let's read. And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. And the rich man also died and was buried. And in hell he lifted his eyes, and being in torments, and seeth Abraham far off and Lazarus in his bosom. And he cried out and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me. Send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. This is what everybody means when they say hell is hot. Now this rich man is begging our grandfather Abraham, can you please send Lazarus just to give me a drop of water? I'm in this flame. I'm being tormented by these demons. Please. Let's see what Abraham has to tell this rich man, because we finna see what this is a glimpse on what goes on in heaven. This is that fire that everybody talks about. It's not a game. He sees Abraham and Lazarus living good while he's stuck in torment in the flames. But Abraham said, Son, remember thou in thy lifetime receiveth thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things, but now he is comforted, and thou art tormented. Now Abraham just told him, while you was living, you had it good. You weren't thinking about nothing. While Lazarus had it bad, sore, sent by the gate, barely could eat, happened to be a beggar. You had it. Now, since you ain't give when you had it, now this is your reward. Yes, the second lake is for the sinner. We're going to get into the second lake of fire, because we're going to get into the second lake of fire and the second death. And it says, what does it say? It says, and besides all this, between us, there is a great gulf fixed, so that they which will pass from hence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that will come from this. So the scripture is saying there's a big chasm or a big gulf in between heaven and hell. And you can't get across it. You can't get across it. There's fallen angels through down in between it, locked up forever. So there's no way you're going to get past this gulf to make it into the kingdom. There's basically a separation between fire and water, or life and death. Even in the kingdom itself, it manifests itself, just like it does in life. So let's continue to read. Then he said, I pray thee, therefore, Father, that I would ascend to my father's house. I have 5 brethren or 5 brothers, that he may testify unto them, lest they also come into this place of torment. So now you got this rich man trying to save his family, because he see they on the same path that's going to lead them to where he's at. And he trying to save them face, because it's a horrible place to be. Let's see what Abraham says. Abraham said unto him, they have Moses and the prophets. Let them hear. Let them hear them. And he said, nay, Father Abraham, but if one went unto them from the dead, they will repent. So now you got this rich man saying, if somebody come from the dead and speak to them, it should shock them or wake them up to the point where they'll feel like, they'll listen. It'll get through their riches and their ego and their pride. Let's see what Abraham says, though. And he said unto him, if they hear not Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded by one rose from the dead. And this is true. Neither would the rich be persuaded by somebody who came from the dead. How do we know that? Because Yeshua the HaMashiach rose from the dead. And look how people act still to this day. Came with the message, rose from the dead, and came and spoke again and gave more insight on how to live. And people still live in a wickedness today. So Abraham was right on point when he said they wouldn't listen even if they heard somebody from the dead speaking. Okay. That's the story of Lazarus and Luke. Now we're gonna go to Matthew 10 and 28. I heard the sister talking about the second. Before we're gonna go to Matthew 10 and 28, people. Let's talk about this second death, because the scriptures say, don't fear who can kill the body. And we shouldn't. That's the problem with our people. We fear this first death. We fear that somebody could take our life on this earth, but we don't. Shabbat shalom, Alexis. We don't think about who could take our spirit. We worry about this flesh. This flesh is going away. All of this is going away. We need to worry about the spirit and who's in control of the spirit after the death. Matthew 10 and 28. Let's read. And I'm going to read. And it says, I'm going to start at verse 27, because I like to start a verse above just to get more insight on what's going on. What I tell you in darkness, that I speak ye in light, and what you hear in the ear, that ye preach upon the housetops. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. I'm going to start right there. We should fear the Elohim. He's the one who could take the body and the soul. We need to stop fearing man who can only take a gun and shoot or take a knife and cut and take your life, but they're not able to take your soul. It's just like when you go to jail or something. See, they can take your body and lock you up, but they can't take your mind. They can't take your spirit and your soul that lies within. They can only lock you up, lock the body away, don't feed the body, torment the body, treat the body like an animal, but they cannot get to our mind and our spirit, because that belongs to the Most High. This flesh can't come to the kingdom. This flesh is contrary to the spirit. Okay. I forgot to read Ecclesiastes 12 and 7, people. I want to go back there just so we can understand. Matter of fact, we ain't even going to go there. It was about the dust. It was about man being dust. From dust we are, and from dust shall we return. The spirit that the Most High gave, he's going to come back and get that, because that belongs to him. This flesh, it belongs to the earth. He took it from the earth, but when he took us and he breathed his breath to us, he need that breath back. And if you didn't use that breath to do evil, oh, you going to the bottomless pit. Sorry to say, but in life, the Most High give us plenty of time to get things right, and most people don't get things right. We got to get over ourselves, people. We have to get over ourselves. Whatever bothering us in the past, we have to get over it. Nothing is worth taking our life that the Most High gave and living in the wrong light, doing the wrong things with taking precious time and doing evil with it instead of doing the Most High's work. Let's go to Revelations 20, family, because we got to learn more about this kingdom that everybody claims they know about. This kingdom, this new kingdom of Jerusalem. that they don't speak of. They just say heaven, the heavens. The heavens is the stars, the sun, and the moon. That's the heavens. We talking about the kingdom. We talking about New Jerusalem. That's what we talking about. Ain't no rapture coming. Ain't none of that happening. All this stuff they preach in these Christian churches and in any of these false religions is not happening. You're not getting 7 virgins when you go to heaven. None of that. You're going to be as a child when you go to the kingdom. You're going to be as a child. And whoever die in the name of the Most High and the Hamashiach going to live forever. So we ain't worried about dying around here. What Matthew 6 say, take no thought for your life. We ain't taking no thought for our life around here because we got the Father's work to do. Fear don't come from the Most High. Fear comes from Hashatan. The Most High put a sound mind in us. Revelation 20, people. Let's get her done. Shout out to my brothers, Honor and Humility STL, man. Let's get her done, man. Shout out to all my odds out there doing the word. Shout out to Tough Guys. Shout out to everybody. All my odds out there. Shout out to all my subscribers. Shout out to all my family today on this Shabbat, on this wonderful day, on this beautiful day. On this beautiful day. Revelation 20, so we can get a little more insight on what's going on. Revelation 20. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having a key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil, and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Let's jump down. Let's jump down to verse 12. And it says, and I saw there the dead, small and great, stand before Yah. And the books were open, and another book was open, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works. Let me read that again, because I spoke on it earlier. There go the book being open. It said it was another book open. What is that book? Right here. And if your life, which is a book, smoking, I mean, that's another subject, so I don't want to get off track. If your book don't match with the book of life, you're not making it into the kingdom. You're not. Sorry. If your book don't match with the book of life, you're not making it to the kingdom. Let's read that again. And it said, I saw there the dead, small and great, stand before Yah, and the books were open. And another book was open, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works. So there we get another insight on what's going on in the kingdom. Let's go to, hold on, let me jump down. It says, and death, it says, and the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them. And there they were judged, every man according to their works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. Sister, this is what you was talking about. You spoke on the second death in the chat. This is the second death. When the Most High judges you for your works and he put your book of life next to his book of life and they don't match up, you're going to get caught. You're going to get cast in the lake of fire with the snake. The snake in the lake. Okay. We're going to go down to Revelation 21 to get more information on this kingdom. Let me read. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there were no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. See, the Most High is that husband, and the kingdom is his bride. Let's see. And Jerusalem and Israel is his bride. let's find out some more about this kingdom. See, when we was in church, but I'm pretty sure everybody heard of the streets of gold in heaven. But your pastor never showed you where this is at. I'm going to show you today where it's at. I'm going to show you where it's at, family. Where they get this from. Yeah, the Wizard of Oz, the yellow brick road. See how Shaitan is so slick in imitating the Most High. Let's read. This is Revelation 21, verse 18. It says, and the building of the wall of it was jasper, and the city was pure gold, likened unto glass. And the foundations of the wall were garnished with all manner of precious stone. And the first foundation was jasper, the second sapphire, and the third chalcedony, and the fourth was emerald. Let's jump down. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls, and every several gate was one of the pearls. And the street of the city was pure gold, as if it was transparent glass. And I saw no temple therein, for the Elohim Yah Almighty and the Lamb are the temple thereof. And the city had no need of sun, neither of the moon, to shine in it, for the glory of the Elohim did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. Let me jump down to verse 27. And therein shall no wise enter into anything that is defiled, neither whatsoever work of abomination or make of a lie, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life. And he showed me a pure river of the water of life. We're gonna start right there. If you ain't in the Lamb's book of life, you're not making it into the kingdom. There you see, there's no sun, there's no moon. In the kingdom, there's only the Father and the Son that's lighting it up. And we're gonna be in that kingdom with him. That's what happens after you die. There's two different versions of the story on what happens after you pass. Because if you with Hashatan, you're not gonna make it into the kingdom. You're not. We live for the Most High. We don't have time to be living for Hashatan while we on this earth. We not in control of what goes on after death, so we need to do what we need to do to make it into the kingdom. Because we know if we want to make it into hell, we just do what we want to do. Do as thou wilt. But the Father got rules to make it into his kingdom. The kingdom is not for everybody. He said gold is tried in the fire. So that means before the Most High call you his precious jewels, you got to be tried through the fire. He's not going to put on no fake jewelry. He's not going to put on no fake gold. It has to be real. Everything is authentic with the Most High. Everything. We're going to go to Revelation 1 and 18 while we still got time, family. Just to expound on a few more things. Revelation 18, no, it's 1 and 18, excuse me, family. Revelation 1st chapter, verse 18. And let's read. We're going to start at verse 17. Family. And let's read. And when I saw him, I fell at his feet as dead. And he laid his right hand upon me, saying unto me, fear not, I am the first and the last. I am he that liveth and was dead. And behold, I am alive forevermore. Amen. I have the keys of hell and the keys of death. Write the things which thou hast seen, and which thou art, and the things which shall be hereafter. And the mysteries of the 7 stars which thou hast saw in my right hand, and the 7 golden candlesticks, and the 7 stars are the angels of the 7 churches, and the 7 candlesticks which thou sawest are the 7 churches. So there you see the Hamashiach saying he's the first and the last, and he has the keys to hell and death itself. So this is who we need to be serving, and this is who we need to be worshiping. the God who has the keys to death and hell itself. Because Hashatan, he only has the keys to wealth on this world, to making it on this earth. He has nothing for you after you leave this earth. Your reward is with him while you living. But our treasures is in heaven, like Matthew 6 say. Let's go to that. Let's go to Matthew 6 to find out where our treasures is. Our treasures is in the kingdom. While everybody trying to make it on this earth, worrying about how much money they got in their bank account, that's going to mean nothing when you go. Like they say, a Brinks truck not pulling up to your funeral. That money going to be divided amongst your family as an inheritance. So I hope you've been working hard, because you ain't taking none to the kingdom. There won't be no George Washingtons and no Jeffersons and no Harriet Tubmans and none of that in the kingdom. There won't be none of that. Matthew 6. Sorry about that, family. Matthew 6. Let's go to, well, I just saying, so let's go to Hebrews 9 and 27 right fast. Is it Hebrews 9 and 27? Yeah, Hebrews 9 and 27, family. Real fast before I go to Matthew 6. Unto man, Christ was once offered to bear sins of many, unto them that look for him shall appear the second time without sin unto salvation. Let me read that again. You only coming through here once. You only coming through here once, so you got to get it right. It says, and as it is appointed unto man once to die, but after this, the judgment. The judgment. Not you going to the kingdom, you going to heaven. He died, he went to heaven. They say rest in peace, because you're going to be resting. But you'll be resting until judgment. If you ain't been living within peace in this lifetime, you're not going to be resting. You're going to be being tormented in Hades, in hell, waiting on judgment to get more hell. One time. We only appointed to live one time as men. But once we leave here as men in the flesh, we're to live forever. We're to live forever. Let's go to Matthew 6 before I get out of here, family. In John 14 and 3, the Most High says, and let's read that. In my Father's house are many mansions. Many mansions. Let's read that. We're going to start at the top of the verse, because this is powerful. It says, let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in Yah. Ye also believe in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have not told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. Whether I go, ye know, and the way ye know. Thomas asked, what should we do after ye leave? That's how we know. We follow the way of the Hamashiach, and we will find our way back to him. He left. He had to sacrifice himself, but in order for us to meet with him again in his Father's house with many mansions, we have to follow the way of the Hamashiach. We have to. That's the only way back into the Father's house. It's through the Son. Through the Son. Matthew 6, family. We're going to do Matthew 6, because this is the prayer. And I'm going to have to shalom. Let's go to Matthew 6 and 19. It says, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon the earth, where moth and rust doeth corrupt, where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doeth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through and steal. For where your treasure is, will your heart be also. And the light of the body is the eye. And if the eye be single, then thy whole body should be full of light. But if thy eye be evil, thy whole body should be full of darkness. And if therefore that light indeed be darkness, how great is that darkness? No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate one and love the other, or else he will hold on to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what you shall eat, or what you shall drink, nor yet what for your body, what should you put on? Is not the life more than the meat, and the body more than the raiment? Behold the fowls of the air, for how they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are you not much better than they? We're going to stop right there. Are you not much more than the birds in the air? Don't worry about nothing. The Most High got us. He said he already know what you want before you ask for it. So all you need to do is endure to the end. And the kingdom is yours. Endure to the end and the kingdom is yours. That's all you need to do, family. I know it's hard out there. I know everybody got situations. I know people, your own family go against you at times. It's okay. People don't understand, and it's okay. They cast rocks. They don't know what they do. We got to be stronger than the adversary itself. We got to be stronger than evil itself. They said love got to fight twice as hard as evil, and I believe that's true. Because when you in this truth and you come with love, people take your kindness for weakness. But it's not a game when we trying to serve the Elohim. I'm Base Jerusalem. It's the Hebrew Life. I think we done here, family. Shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shalom, family.